Hello everyone, welcome to my channel IPS Videos. So after a few days, we will going to start our session. Before that, a request to all subscribers and the viewers, please give a like and make a comment about the session of the class, and please inform your friends or the relatives. Ask them to subscribe and ask them to watch the videos regularly. And one more request from my side is, please do watch every video which was I uploaded previously. Some of the topics or some of the videos has no views, but other topics have some views. So please watch them regularly according to your chapter. Please watch and give a comment. Nobody is giving a comment, and give any suggestions. I am always ready to take suggestions. So please give me your suggestions in the form of comment. Share the channel. Subscribe the channel if you did not subscribe. So inform your friends and also ask them subscribe and follow the channel regularly. Right? Okay. Then coming to today's topic. Previously we discussed human eye, the important parts of the human eye. The previous video I explained about human eye, different parts of human eye and their function. Then coming to the next topic in the chapter, human eye and the colorful world, is defects of vision or eye defects. Defects of vision or eye defects. So here due to reflection of light on the board, you are unable to see the heading. See the heading. So eye defects of vision or eye defects. So there are four types of eye defects. One is myopia. The second one is hypermetropia. The third one is presbyopia, and the fourth one is cataract. So what are eye defects? So generally the ability to see the objects are called vision. The ability to see the objects are called the ability to see the object is called vision. So it is also called as eyesight, or in our generally it called sight. Sometimes the eye of a person cannot focus the image of an object, on the retina properly. So if the eye cannot focus the image of an object on the retina, we cannot see the object clearly. Means there is some defect, there is some problem happen in our vision. So the problem arises while seeing the objects or in our vision. We can call the eye defects or defects of vision. There are four types: myopia, hypermetropia, presbyopia and cataract. So let us discuss one by one. The first one is myopia. This myopia is also called as sharp sightedness or nearsightedness. So what is myopia or what is short sightedness? So if the person is suffering with myopia, he or she cannot see the distant objects clearly, but able to see see the nearer objects, cannot see the far objects and able to see the nearer objects. Such defect of vision is called myopia. The reason for myopia is due to high converging power of eyelids or short focal length. Its short focal length or due to the eyeball being too long. Means the distance between the retina and the eyeball is long distance. So due to this reason, either due to the high converging power of eyelids or due to the short focal length of the eyelids or eyeball being too long. Sometimes ciliary muscles. So as earlier we discussed, ciliary muscles have the ability to change the size or the converging power or the focal length of eyelids. So that ability of ciliary muscle, the ability of adjusting the converging power or the change in the focal length of eyelids, you can call as accommodation. So ciliary muscles, if the person suffering with myopia, ciliary muscles attached to the eyelids do not relax sufficiently to make the eyelids thinner to reduce its converging power. So ciliary muscles, if the person suffering with myopia, ciliary muscles have not ability to make the eyelids thinner or make the converging power less. So due to the great converging power of eyelids, what will happen? Eyelids in a myopic eye, the image is formed. The image of far object or the distant object formed in front of the retina. So every image of an object formed on the retina. So the retina has the optic nerve which is directly connected to our brain. Transform the image of an object into electrical signals. Then we are identify the image and the features of the image of an object. So if the person suffering with myopic eye, unable to see the far objects or the distant objects because of ciliary muscles has no ability to change the length of the eyelids or to change the converging power or to change the focal length of the eyelids. So object form in front of the retina. So generally, if the person did not suffer with myopia, so the image of an object is formed on the retina. So if the person is suffering with myopia, due to the more converging power or due to the short focal length of the eyelids, the image is formed in front of the retina. So if the person is suffering with myopic eye, if the person is unable to see the distant object or the far object, so the image of an object is formed on the in front of the retina. So the person is unable to see the far objects. So to to make the person to see the object clearly, if the person is suffering with myopic eye, that the object should be placed in front of the eye lens or in front of the eye. The distance between the eye lens or the eye and the object is less than the far point. Less than the far point. So far point in the sense the object is at the infinity. So if we place the object before the far point, the image is formed on the retina. When so far point of myopic eye less than the infinity. Far point of a myopic eye is less than the infinity. So to see the object clearly, to see the image of an object clearly, the object must be placed in between the before the infinity point, before the infinity or before the far point. So if the object placed at the point F, is the nearer object. As earlier we discussed, for far object parallel rays are considered, for the nearer object diverging rays are considered. If the object placed at the point F, after the refraction of light, the image is formed on the retina. So to make the person to see the distant object, we have to rectify the eye defect. In what way you have to rectify the eye defect? So correction of myopia. How do we correct the myopia? So to see the distant object, or the object is at far point, or the object is at infinity, to form a clear image of an object on the retina, we have to use a concave lens. So when we arrange or when we place a concave lens in front of the eyes, as we know, concave lens is a diverging lens. So due to the diverging lens or due to the concave lens always forms a virtual image. So to see the far object or the distant objects, when we use a diverging lens or a concave lens, the parallel rays are incident on the concave lens, they diverge. So rays are diverged by concave lens. So here these are the divergent rays. These divergent rays are again incident on the eye lens. Due to the refraction of light, the image of an object formed on the retina. So the virtual image of an object formed at the point F. So the object is at infinity at the far point. When we use a concave lens, the concave lens forms a virtual image at the point F. So these divergent rays are converged by the eye lens and form the image. So here this virtual image formed by concave lens now acts as the object for the eye lens. So due to the convergence of light rays, the image is formed on the retina. So virtual image formed at the F. So Due to this concave lens forms a virtual image of a distant object at the point F of the myopic eye. Since the rays of light now appear to be coming from the eye's far point, then can easily focus by the eye lens to form an image on the retina. So this concave lens divert the light rays and the virtual image of an object, virtual image of the distant object formed at the point F. So from there the light rays are incident and the image is formed exactly on the retina. So the concave lens used for correcting myopia should be of such focal length that it produces a virtual image of the distant object at the far point of the myopic eye. The far point of the myopic eye. So here now, actually the object is a far distance. So here the image, the virtual image of an object is formed at the F. Here now F is a far point. So at the eye's far point is F. So now in this way, by using the concave lens, we are able to correct the myopia. We have correct the myopia, the defect of vision. So myopia is the eye defect or the defect of vision. If the person is suffering with myopia, able to see the nearer objects, unable to see the distant objects, because due to the ciliary muscles are unable to change the length or change the focal length or unable to change the converging power of eyelids, the image of an object is formed in front of the retina. So we cannot see, the person unable to see the object. To make the person to see the object clearly, when we use the concave lens is the diverging lens. The diverging lens forms a virtual image of the distant object. So this virtual image of distant object acts as the object for the objects. Then the image of an object is formed on the retina. So in this way, we know about the myopia. Then the whole purpose of using concave lens here to reduce the converging power. Of eye lens. The person suffering with myopia has more converging power. Due to the more converging power, the image is formed in front of the retina. To make the image formation on the retina, we have to use a concave lens. The diverging lens, it reduces the converging power of eyelids and makes the image formed on the retina. Then coming to the second eye defect is myopia. When myopia is completed, then coming to the second eye defect or a defect of vision. Hypermetropia. Hypermetropia, or we can say the far-sightedness or long-sightedness. Far-sightedness or long-sightedness. So can see the distant objects clearly. But cannot see the near objects. So if the person is completely this hypermetropia is completely different or opposite to the myopia. Hypermetropia opposite to the myopia. So the person is able to see the distant objects but unable to see the nearer objects. So the reasons for hypermetropia is the defect of vision is there. In case of myopia, we discussed that due to the high converging power. So due to less converging power or high focal length or more focal length, or there in myopia we discussed eyeball is too long. Due to eyeball being too short. Are the reasons. Due to the less converging power of eyelids or high focal length or more focal length of eyelids, then eyeball being too sharp. Due to these reasons, the person is able to see the distant objects but unable to see the nearer objects because of, as earlier we discussed, ciliary muscles. Right? In some cases, the ciliary muscles attached to the eyelids become weak and cannot make the eyelids thicker to increase its converging power. So, due to the low converging power of eyelids in an eye suffering from hypermetropia. Right? And the eyeball is too short due to the distance from the eyelids and the retina. The distance between the eyelids and the retina is small. The condition also results in the formation of the image of a nearer object behind the retina. So, if the person has no eye defect like hypermetropia, to see the object, the image is formed on the retina. If the person is suffering with hypermetropia, so unable to see the nearer objects, not the far objects. Unable to see the nearer objects or far objects. The person has no eye defect. The image of an object formed on the retina only. The person is suffering with any eye defect like myopia, the image is formed in front of the retina. In case of hypermetropia, the image is formed behind the retina. So, unable to see the nearer objects. So, near objects. So, in case of the near objects, these are the diverging light rays. So, after the diverging light rays, they meet behind the retina. So, here the image of an object is formed. Because of ciliary muscles are become weak and unable to change the eyelids into thicker and unable to make it more converging power. Instead of that, so the ciliary muscles make the eyelids become less converging power. So due to the less converging power or the eyeball being too short, the image is formed behind the retina. So N means nearby object. So O is the object. Then here the image of an object is formed. So this nearby object or near distance we can say to be least distance of distinct vision. Already we discussed. In hypermetropia of the eye, the image of a nearby object lying at a normal near point N is formed behind the retina. Right? So image formed behind image formed behind the retina. Image formed behind the retina. So, to make the object, to see the near object clearly, the near point of so eye lens. So actually this is to make like this. So here the image of an object is formed on the retina. So here the nearer point, for the person who is suffering with myopia. Sorry, who is suffering with hypermetropia. So actually the person is unable to see the near objects, but able to see the far objects or the distant objects. So the nearer point of end dash, for hypermetropic eye is farther away from the normal nearer point N. So actually the person is unable to see the object if the object is at the normal nearer point N, right? So due to the image of an object is formed behind the retina, to make the person to see the nearer object, so here the end dash is the nearer point for the hypermetropic eye. So far away from the normal near point A. To correct or rectify the hypermetropia, so correction of hypermetropia. In case of myopia, we have to use concave lens. Here we have to use a convex lens. So eye lens, in front of the eye lens, if we place a convex lens, actually here the end is the normal nearer point. So from the normal nearer point, the light rays are incident here, then refracted. Then after the refraction, they meet on the retina. So here the image of an object is formed. So as we know, the convex lens also forms a virtual image. So here the far end dash. Here N is the normal near point of the eye. Here N dash is the nearer point for the hypermetropic eye. So correction of hypermetropia, the convex lens forms a virtual image of an object. The convex lens forms a virtual image of the object. If the object is placed at the normal near point N, the virtual image of an object is formed at the end dash. From this point end dash, the image is formed on the retina. This means if the object placed at the normal nearer point can be made appear as if it were placed at the eye's nearer point end as, then the eye will be able to see it clearly. So by using the convex lens, so if we use a convex lens to rectify or to correct the hypermetropia, this convex lens forms the virtual image of object which is placed at the point N is actual near point of the eye. Then the image of an object is formed at the end as this virtual image formed at the end as acts as the object for the eyelids, and the eyelids or the image of an object is formed on the retina, and the image of an object is formed on the retina. So drawing the diagrams are the very important. So we practice the diagrams, the very important. So in case of light, as earlier we discussed, so practicing the diagrams are very important. So image of an object is formed on the retina when we use a convex lens for the correction of hypermetropia. For myopia, we have to use a concave lens. So in this way, we are able to rectify correct the hypermetropia. Hypermetropia is one of the eye defect or defect of vision. The person is able to see the far objects or distant objects and unable to see the nearer objects because of, in case of hypermetropia, the image of an object is formed behind the retina due to the less converging power of an human eye. Then presbyopia, the other one is the presbyopia. Presbyopia is the defect of vision due to which an old person cannot see the near object clearly due to loss of power of accommodation of the eyelids. So the nearer part. So the older persons, the old people is unable to see the nearer objects. Because they have no power of accommodation. What is the power of accommodation? Accommodation is the ability of the ciliary muscles to change the size of the eyelids, to change the converging power of eyelids, or to change the focal length. Due to the less ability or due to the no power of accommodation, old people are unable to see the nearer objects. Such eye defect, so we can call presbyopia. Presbyopia. Right? Presbyopia. Presbyopia is eye defect which suffered by the old people because of loss of power of accommodation. So the near point of the old person having presbyopia gradually recedes and become much more than 25 centimeters away. So for the human eye to see the object very clearly, at least the distance between the eye lens and the object is 25 centimeters. Actually, the nearer point of the old person having presbyopia gradually recedes and becomes much more than 25 centimeters away. So presbyopia is a kind of hypermetropia. Presbyopia is a one type of hypermetropia. So presbyopia defect is corrected in the same way. How? The same way as hypermetropia, by using spectacles contain or having convex lens. Convex lens. It is also possible that the same person is suffering with myopia and hypermetropia. Generally, presbyopia is unable to see the near objects because of less power of accommodation. Sometimes the people are sometimes the people are suffer with both myopia and hypermetropia. So to correct that problem, the person must be use the spectacles contain both concave lens and the convex lens. So concave lens for to see the distant objects, convex lens are for to see the nearer objects. So unable to see the far objects, unable to see the nearer objects. To see the objects clearly, the spectacles must contain two types of lenses. One is the concave lens for seeing the distant object. The other one is the convex lens for seeing the shorter objects or the nearer objects. Right? Then cataract. Then the other one is the cataract. So the medical condition in which the lens of the eye of a person become progressively cloudy, resulting in a blurred vision. So some white layer is formed on the eye. So that layer makes the person to see the image of an object not clearly. A blurred image of an object is formed. Such defect of vision we can call as cataract. Such defect of vision is called as cataract. So we cannot correct the cataract by using any type of lens, either the concave lens or the convex lens. The only way is make the surgery. So especially the old age people are suffering this type of defect of vision. So that's all for today. So we discussed 4 types of defects of vision: myopia, hypermetropia, cataract and presbyopia. So read your textbook thoroughly, understand the concept, right? Underline important points and practice the ray diagrams. The very important. Practicing the ray diagrams are very important. So when we draw the diagrams perfectly, then writing a matter is very easy, right? So if you learn the concept, if you know the matter or the answer very well, but you don't know drawing the diagrams, so a little bit confusion in what way we have to draw the diagram. So whenever you practice the diagrams, just by seeing the diagrams also, you are able to write the answer. So this is the session today. So please, once again I am requesting you, follow the channel regularly, share the channel with your friends, and like the videos and give a comment and give your valuable suggestions. So in the form of a comments. I hope you understood well. Thank you. Thank you so much.